All right, so I found it. Okay. Don't know why it wasn't in my library. You know what? I'm going to have to add it to my library. That's what I probably forgot to do. So there it is. Add to list. I didn't do that. Okay, I just studying really quick about Terry Gilliam. First of all, I found out he's actually an American from Minneapolis. And he moved to England where he met this makeup artist. And then he married her. But he was also part of Monty Python, also known as the Pythons. And he was an actor with them, if I'm not mistaken. Says it right here. He gained stardom as a member. So he was a member. I don't know if he was an actor, but he might have been. Monty Python comedy troupe alongside John Cleese, Eric Idle, Michael Palin, Terry Jones, and Graham Chapman. Part of the Monty Python's comedy group, which they did the Monty Python's Flying Circus. So Time Bandits, I think, is an important work for him because it probably launched his career, even though it was his third film. He lost money on his first two films, but he made it with $5 million, and they made a killing. They made $42 million off of it. So that put him in the running of a guy that could make hit films. And it has a lot of people in it. All of these people right here. And it's an incredible film. It's just, you know, if anything, this will probably explain it. It's in 1979. Well, in 1979, he wasn't able to make Brazil, which he lost money on Brazil. But, you know, that's not everything, but it is sometimes the studios. But this is a 1981 film. It released in July 2nd. Time Bandits did. I got to see that. And even though it's nowadays, I was still blown away by Time Bandits. It's kind of amazing. Then after Time Bandits, I usually sometimes try to watch two if I have, because I took yesterday off. And the other one I watched, besides Children of Paradise, which I kept falling asleep in, and I do like Children of Paradise, I think it's brilliant, is this Akira, I think it's how you say it, Akira. It's directed by Akira Kurosawa, and it's pretty amazing. I did fall asleep in it. I'm going to have to watch the rest of it. So this one's I'm kind of studying. So it's one of the greatest achievements of Akira Kurosawa. Akira, that's how I'm pronouncing it now, shows a director at his most compassionate, affirming life through an exploration of death. Takeshi Shimura beautifully portrays Kanja Watanabe, an aging bureaucrat with a stomach cancer who's impelled to find meaning in his final days, presented in a radically conceived two-part structure and shot with a perceptive humanistic clarity of vision. Akira is a multifaceted look at what it means to be alive. So I saw that, and I thought, you know, he hasn't let me down yet on Akira Kurosawa, everything that I've seen. He's kind of one of those directors, everything I've seen, I've been entertained by. I'm going to go back to Terry Gilliam. It's not showing it on here yet because I just added it. It might show it if I go back to library here. I'm still trying to work this thing, and I'm just like dying at the mic here trying to show this. Yeah, there it is. I added it right there. Okay. Anyway, I really highly recommend Time Bandits. I'd say out of the three, it's a more dynamic, like entertaining film. But Children of Paradise is a must-see. It really is good, especially watching Baptista move on stage, which is the mime. But anyway, he said that that influenced him in a lot of his work, which is the guy that did Children of Paradise, his name is Marcel Carnet. And it influenced him because of the theater that he used. And he uses a lot of theater in Time Bandits. You know, like showing the actual theater. It opens with Napoleon. Well, it isn't open with Napoleon, but their first time travel is they go into, I believe, they land into the Napoleon's time, and they run across Napoleon. So anyway, real quick with Time Bandits. Kevin is a young boy fascinated by history, particularly that of ancient Greece. His parents ignore his activities, having become obsessed with buying latest household gadgets. One night, as Kevin sleeps, an enamored knight on a horse bursts out of his wardrobe. Kevin hides under the covers as the knight rides off into a forest where his bedroom wall was. When Kevin looks again, the room returns to normal, and he finds one of his photos on the wall, similar to the forest he saw. Next night, he prepares a satchel with supplies and a Polaroid camera, but surprised with 6 dwarves spill out of the wardrobe. Kevin quickly learns the group has stolen a map and is looking for an exit from his room before they are discovered. They find that the bedroom walls lead to a portal. Kevin hesitates to join until the apparition of a floating, menacing head, the supreme being, appears behind them, demanding the map's return. Kevin, the dwarves find an empty void at the end of the hallway. They land in Italy during the Battle of Castiglione. That's where Napoleon is. They're in Italy. And as they recover, Kevin learns that Randall is a lead dwarf of the group. That just kind of gives you an idea of how it starts. It keeps on going. This is a long description, and the supreme being turns out to be kind of the winner of it all. There's an evil force that's trying to steal the map as Kevin and the dwarves cower evil. And he's like evil incarnate. I believe he's played, Ian Holm plays Napoleon, I believe, which I thought he's a pretty famous actor. He plays Napoleon. But anyway, this guy actually plays what's known as evil, and you can see it right here under the cast. David Warner plays evil, and the supreme being is played by Ralph Richardson. Kevin, the young kid, is played by Craig Warnock. This guy right here. He doesn't even have a photo on Wikipedia. But Shelley Duvall's in it. She plays Pansy. She's passed away here in Texas. And then Ian Holmes plays Napoleon. All right, kitty. You be sure to stay dry. And I'm going out into the wet world of the rain tonight. So I'm leaving you with Fox. And you're pretty lucky. So I left you a little bit of food and water. I think you'll be okay. Okay? Good answer. That should be plenty. There you go, kitty. That'll hold you off for a little while. The thing about Gilliam is he transitioned to directing serious films with themes exploring imagination, opposition, bureaucracy, and authoritarianism. His films are sometimes set in dystopian worlds and involve black comedy and tragic comic elements. And there he is right there. He also did Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp, and one of my favorite actors, well, Johnny Depp is, of course, and Benicio del Toro, yeah. If you've read Fear and Loathing, which is an outstanding film. The last one he's done so far is 2018, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Used Adam Driver in it, and it's with Sparky Pictures. Nope, you gotta stay. Here we go. Here's the theatrical poster for Kiru, a Akira Kurosawa film that I found I'll be watching. I'm not gonna say a whole lot about it right now, but 1952 Japanese drama film directed by Akira Kurosawa. All right, it's a Thursday, November 20th, 2025, about 5:26 in the PM, and according to my phone and outside, it is raining. There's my little widget app. And I looked at the weather bug, but I don't really want to go by that because it's not exactly 100%. But I did go out and buy a new windshield wiper on the driver's side, a Duralast. I'm going to do a little show on it. Probably like I don't know, it's like a 4-minute show or something, or 5-minute show. And it's a little different than the one that I got a lot of attention on, which is a 9,000 view show on a replacement of the windshield wiper. But they're a little tricky. They just kind of hook in. Oh, by the way, welcome to the Please Subscribe show. I'm Cole Spivey, the host. There's Critter. He's a air freshener that likes to hang on my rearview mirror. He likes to live, laugh, and smell good. There he is. And yeah, I got to see a few movies. I took yesterday off, even though I knew it was going to rain less yesterday than today. I didn't purposely do that. I was just exhausted yesterday, and I just, so I'm gonna watch a couple of movies, stay in. It'll rain a little bit. I know it's gonna rain today, the next day, and I'm gonna have to go out, but oh well, But I ended up watching all the way through Time Bandits, which is Terry Gilliam, 1981 film. It did really well at the box office. It's got Ian Holmes plays Napoleon in it. He's one of the big stars that came out of that. John Cleese is in it. Plays Robin Hood. Here's the butterfly. And I did not know that Terry Gilliam was part of the Monty Python group. But yes, he is. I kind of knew that. I thought he was just the filmmaker behind a lot of it. I didn't know he was part of their group. That's how he got started. And I was trying to figure out, I was doing some research on him. I know he married a makeup artist, and I was trying to get her name again. And I don't know, if it probably says early life or something. Started his career as an animator, strip cartoonist. He joined Monty Python as an animator of the works, but eventually became a full member, the only Monty Python member not born in Britain. Yeah. He was born in Minneapolis in 1940. And his dad was a salesman for Folgers. I guess Folgers Coffee. Yeah, Maggie Weston is the makeup artist since 1973. So yeah, that kind of makes some sense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of makeup in all this stuff. He's kind of aesthetic, meaning he's visual. He focuses on visual, but yet there's an internal side to him. He's a mysterious one. But we'll get into him a little bit later. I'm not going to go into a full review of Time Bandits, but I found out some, a little stuff about it. It made a lot of money, and I know Monty Python was loosely probably connected to it because of John Cleese, but it's not in the same limelight, or it's not in the same, I would say, even genre completely than Monty Python and the Holy Grail and things like that. I think it's exactly like, it's not that type of humor, but there's a lot of it in there. Anyway, I like it. I like rewatching it. There's certain films that I like to see more than once, and Time Bandits is one of the ones that I really enjoy. And then I ran across it very late. I ran across the Akira Kurosawa film because everyone talks about Akira Kurosawa. I mispronounce his name horribly sometimes, but Ikiru looked like a pretty good one. It reminded me a little bit of Drunken Angel, if you've seen Drunken Angel, which is Akira Kurosawa. And then I think I also switched over. I started off with Children of Paradise, which is Marcel Carné, and I saw that commentary with Terry Gilliam talking about it, and I remember being introduced to it in college when I was studying mime, and then that led me to Time Bandits. That's just how it worked out. So that's why I'm reviewing those three. I'm just talking about them, I guess reviewing them. But Children of Paradise is very different. But Terry Gilliam says a lot of things, cool things about it. How it starts off very busy, and it's among these crowds of people along this thing called. It's somewhere. I believe it's set in France. Called this. It's like the streets of crime or the streets of murder. And it's all these people kind of going around where the theater is, and there's like over almost around 2,000 extras walking around. So they used all these extras, and it's kind of busy. And then later on, the film becomes very still. And they did make it during the when the Nazis occupied that area, and they did have to kind of run from them a little bit to make that film. So it's an important film in cinema today. I believe it came out in 1945 at the end of the war. But they kind of made it on the run kind of thing, you know, in a way. Anyway, I'll put here if you'd like to support the channel. First, there's, please subscribe. And then I think I'm going to do this right here for my PayPal, like that. Change it up a little bit. This looked too much like I was waving my finger saying no. I kind of like this, like right there. That's where my PayPal will go, right there. All right. Not trying to be snide or anything, but yeah, if you do want to support the channel, PayPal is the best way. Also, just watching the channel, and also subscribing, that helps too. So there's different things, and you can hit the notifying bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. That's how it works for right now. Oh, and this is the time of the show where you get to watch me pick up food at restaurants and then drop it off at your doorstep. All right, here we go. All right, Modern Art Museum. They're advertising Jenny Seville, The Anatomy of Painting. And then they're doing Myth and Marble at the Kimball Art Museum. Casa Manana, which is the theater right here, House of Tomorrow, they're doing Rudolph until December 23rd. And then December, I believe that's, no, December 23rd, and then December 23rd to January 23rd to February 15th. So January 23rd, they're going to do Wizard of Oz until February 15th. Guess maybe they're taking a little break after that, because they're going till, oh no, that's right. They're going to January for Rudolph. Or are they going to December 23rd? I know, yeah, I think that's correct. They're going to December 23rd for Rudolph. Then they'll pick up Wizard of Oz in January and go till February 15th. I'll have to look at that again on the dates. But anyway, they're doing those two shows, Rudolph, and they're doing the Wizard of Oz. I'll have to look at the dates again. All right, Sweet Green. On our way, 5:42 arrival, 4 minutes, 0.6 miles for the pickup. Notice a lot of the colors come out in the rain off, they glare off the road. They kind of smear. It almost becomes like a watercolor. See it kind of like right there. And then you have like the regular reality. Let me get that windshield wiper going on there. I got the new windshield wiper. I'm kind of proud of that. It's a Duralast, so the one that came with the car only lasted me 40,000 miles, so I had to replace it for $16 today, which I did a little show on it. It wasn't as good as the other show that I did, the 2019 Kia, but there might be aspects. There's split screen, and it does have an intro, which the other one didn't. So because of that, it might do okay eventually. I didn't think my 2019 Kia windshield wiper video would get 9,000 views, but I'm pretty proud. I posted it on Facebook today. I was like, wow, 9,000. And that was a quick little 2-minute video that I sent up. And yeah, it shows how you hit mist. You push up on the lever for the windshield wiper lever right here. And you got to have at least, start the car and then turn it off. And immediately hit the mist. Push it up. And it'll bring it up to the service mode so that you can change the blades, the wiper blades. And I was kind of proud to show that because I learned that on YouTube. And then I bought that Duralast one for like $12 back then, which is a few years ago, a couple of years ago probably. and it went up $2, so it's $14.90 something or something like that for the new Duralast. It's like almost $2 more. So it shows the inflation. I think that comes to about $1 a year on the inflation if I did that video 2 years ago. I don't know how long it took to get to 9,000. I don't keep up with the videos that much. I do sometimes look at popular videos. I do not order my videos under popularity, meaning I don't sequence my videos to be watched under popularity. So that says something. I don't know if I have any that have 1 million views yet, but I do have a few that have, I think, I have to look to see on the most popular ones to see if I've see how much I've done. I know the one that Linda and I did in the rain called Hurricane Beach Ball Scene, or is it Beach Ball Hurricane? Yeah, it's Beach Ball Hurricane Scene. It got quite a bit pretty quick. We were throwing a beach ball around in the rain, pretending like it was a hurricane. When we first met. Raising money for 101.1. It's a classical station.
Or commit to making a monthly donation to help us to achieve this. Or maybe you're someone who can invest a little bit more today.
All I want for Christmas is zoo. I don't know if I believe that sign, but apparently that's what they wrote. Also like the fact that one of the dwarves is named Fidget. He's the one that gets killed and then resurrected by the Supreme Being. The one that's like, give me back the map that you've stolen. And they're all running from him. Oh no, it's a Supreme Being. They end up working for him. So the 6 dwarves? I thought it was 5 in one shot. I think it's 6 dwarves. And they, what is his name? Og. You gotta watch it just alone, just to analyze the dwarves. Is he talking about the 7 dwarves, maybe? Probably. And then I gotta figure out who wrote it. There's a lot of stuff I need to find out about time bands. I just watch it because I enjoy it. I'll get to the screenplay writer and all the brilliant stuff later if I review it, officially review it. But I saw it when I was a kid, you know, and it brings back memories. I like how the parents are obsessed with gadgets, you know, like you use in the kitchen. You know, she wants to run back in the house at the end for the toaster. And Sean Connery plays a couple of characters, and he plays a king, like a Greek king, and then he also plays the fireman that winks at him, you know, kind of Wizard of Oz but backwards, you know, kind of thing. So Sean Connery plays Agamemnon and the fireman, yeah, Agamemnon the king. Okay. This is a snag. This is a Grand Mark South Tower right here. Kindly enough, they actually give out Starburst at the front desk. It's kind of like ping pong almost, or something with the car and these small roads. Looks like they're building something. It's in development. Partners Endeavor, Ramza, OHT Partners, Kimley Horn, Morado on Berry. Some kind of construction. It looks like apartments from that right there. Let's see if I can get through here. Live bold, thrive daily. Yeah, those will be apartments on West Berry and Green, right by TCU, right next to Toppers. Right, got a pretty good one at Mellow Mushroom, 6:07 arrival, 2 minutes, 0.6 miles for the pickup. Really big bumper cars, or at least ping pong right there. Not the way that they have that little parking spot right there. You have to kind of back up, go forward, back up, go forward, back up. Oh, did I lose the light again? I went to darkness over here, but there's still a spot. Yeah, that light comes and goes back here. Oh well. Usually that light is on right there. This is another mushroom. Alrighty. 6:29 arrival, 16 minutes, 7.3 miles for this mellow mushroom delivery. Kind of see the tree right there. It's a massive tree. Looks like they're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Ironically enough. All right, Texas Fish Chicken Grill on our way, 6:44, 6 minutes, 2.3 miles for the pickup. Texas Fish Chicken Grill on the way, 6:57, 4 minutes, 1.2 miles for the delivery. You'd have to look at the Texas Fish and Chicken, second one on its way, 7:17, 14 minutes, 9 miles for the delivery. There's gonna be a lot of that. Even if there's a little bit of rain, there's emergency vehicles everywhere the whole time. Well, that windshield wiper, the Duralast, it's working pretty good. This one needs to be replaced, which is my next project. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll replace that one. I'll do a better show on the passenger side, replacement of the windshield wiper. I mean, I only had a few moments to do this one, the one I'm going to release tonight. It's like a 5-minute show. But it has more of a beginning and I guess kind of an ending. And I did a split screen thing, so I don't know, it's a matter of opinion. graduated too. It's Wesleyan. All right, Papa John's on West 7th, 7:39, 17 minutes, 6.5 miles for the pickup. St. Paul Lutheran Church and School, not as I will, but as you will. Matthew 26:39. I think they had that one, and I'm not going to go that way. Thanks for the suggestion. I don't know what, that's so unnecessary to have to take the tollway. All we're doing is going down, literally. Actually, this way is probably quicker. Yeah, it readjusted itself. It wanted me to go on Chisholm's Tollway, and I'm going to Papa John's, which I've been to a numerous amount of times, unlimited amount of times. And you can just simply just go, actually, going down University is not necessarily quicker either. I'll just go down by Will Rogers, down this way. I don't know, I kind of stick to this a little bit as much as I can because of traffic. It reads traffic, but I don't know, it's a straight shot. If you pass University, you go to the cultural district. Above that, it should have a road on it. Montgomery Street, rather than go through all the, you know, the lights and everything. I gotta take some messages from one of the co-creators of the Please Subscribe show, Linda. Anyway, so I just take this, yeah, see, it readjusted itself, and then I go that way. Papa John's on its way, 7:56 arrival, 10 minutes, 3.2 miles for the delivery. All right, so I just confirmed it. They're doing route off until the 23rd. Then they'll pick up with Wizard of Oz on the 23rd of January. And then go through till February 15th. Closing Wizard of Oz at Casa Manana. So they're taking a little break between the two shows. Almost a month. They might could, you know, make those cones red and white for Christmas time. It'd be festive. They'll probably just keep them orange. Not that there's anything wrong with it, either way. Because orange is like candy canes, or not candy corn. Yeah, candy corn. The red and white's like candy canes. Yeah, candy corn cones. Candy cane cones. I don't know if it's that one or not. It's on Country Club. It's probably that one. Got another Papa John's on the way. 8:06 arrival, 8:08 arrival. 7 minutes, 2 miles for that delivery. We're in the middle of a country club. This is like high society TCU people. Probably the president of TCU. One of them probably like lived over here at one time, maybe, or at least he attended a dinner there, which is the country club. It's where they golf and stuff like that. The frogs golf. There's the cones. That's probably the microphones. I don't know if you know, but doing this show, I'm constantly controlling a lot of different things, like these air that comes on. You know, the Kia car company is very giving on how they do things, but I'm turning a lot of things off, and it's like walking a tightrope and juggling at the same time, and plugging things in constantly too. And yeah, the air will cut on. I don't know if it does it on automatic, but I have to turn the air off because it'll hit the microphone and it'll be like blowing in the microphone. Things like that. Dealing with a lot of different issues. This will be the Pizza Hut on Berry, 8:19 arrival, 4 minutes, 1.1 mile for the pickup. Vroom, vroom. Yeah, it's funny if you watch the show, because later on I talked about the pickup, you know. You ain't gonna take my pickup truck, whoever that may be, you know. And then Nebraska, I see Nebraska, all the guy really wants is, you know, the father, the older father. He just wants a new pickup and a compressor, an air compressor. But he thinks he wins $1 million, which is like a sweepstake thing. It was just like an advertisement for magazines. But his son feels bad for him and buys him a pickup. It's a good point, you know. It's not all the sons out there can afford to buy their father's pickup trucks and their mother's new houses. But in Nebraska, in the movie, with Bruce Dern and Bob Odenkirk and Will Forte, Alexander is the director. Alexander Payne. I remembered. Give me a second. Dealing with the seatbelt, like I said, I'm always dealing with the seatbelt's always clicking. I mentioned a pickup in this one. You know, things in life, they match up. You know, like you talk about something, then later on it appears on the vlog. I've noticed that. But yeah, Time Bandits are dealing with a time continuum and these little holes in a map that show plot points of where they could just simply go through time and then reappear in another time. They could be in Napoleon's time, and then they're in like Greek time, and then they're in, you know, he comes back with a spaceship, you know, to fight the evil one. You know, we don't see him go in the future, but I can see that it's a screenplay. It was an original screenplay by Terry Gilliam, and I just looked it up a few seconds ago. I was looking at it. He's one of the players of the Monty Python, the other writer, which is Michael Palin. That guy right here. He looks like that. He looks like a Monty Python type. And another thing that I question is, you know, they all end up to fight the evil one in this kind of gothic, it's like kind of a medieval cavern / dungeon / castle, you know, thing. and they've all gone to different times in history. Like, they come back with a bunch of cowboys, to fight, in this one, and they don't win because, remember, the arrows go into him and he blows the arrows back at the cowboys and kills the cowboys. And then there's like, I can see this being written by comedians. But it worked, though. They made it work because of Terry Gilliam's exactness. Then, I guess maybe it was Fidget. One of the dwarves got a hold of the spaceship. I don't know if it was Fidget or not, but that doesn't work. And then they come back with a World War II Sherman tank, to shoot the bullets, or not the tank, the bullets, but the shells, or I guess they are bullets, but they're huge bullets. They're basically like anti-tank projectiles at the evil one. He just thumbs them away, which he's a representation of the devil. And then the Supreme Being eventually, I guess the Supreme Being eventually kills him, or he freezes him, or he turns him into toast. Basically turns him into kind of like a charcoal that later on appears in the microwave of the parents. They touch it and they blow up at the very end, which is, horrible for the kid, I think it's for adults, it's for kids too, it works for both ways, for sure. All right, Pizza Hut on its way, 8:32, 5 minutes, 1.5 for the delivery. Got one at the warehouse. I just call it the warehouse. It's kind of like a grocery store or warehouse where you can just order like groceries. On our way. 8:39 arrival, 1 minute, 0.3. All right, grocer warehouse on its way. 9:02 arrival, 17 minutes, 12 miles for the delivery. Even one wiper blade makes a big difference when it's replaced. You can tell. It even helps the other wiper blade. Or the one that needs to be replaced, which this one does, but that one doesn't. That one's okay. Looks like it's going towards Mansfield. Remember, I used to take this stop to go to I believe it was Main Street Theater in Mansfield. They call it the Mansfield Theater. When we were doing community theater shows and stuff. We did The Man Who Came to Dinner one time. A friend of mine did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I think there was another show. Yeah, they did I think a show called Lamps. Or something like that. It was a show with several women that all connected by lamps. I remember Man Who Came to Dinner and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The one I did was The Man Who Came to Dinner, I played banjo. Remember, I flew out to New York to see a friend. I was going to NYU, and I came back and did the show. We got standing ovations almost like every night. So it was a lot of fun. It's historical theater that's out there. I don't know if it's still there.
It's the Mansfield Theaters, I think is what they called it. It was on Main Street. I don't know if it was called the Main Street Theater. I think it might have been the Mansfield Theater. Theater Mansfield, I think is what it went by. Way out in Arlington. I mean, every once in a while it's okay. But I guess I'm not going to say what the person ordered, but you know, it's, I guess they don't have that certain thing out here or something, so they had to get it from the warehouse. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. It's just how things work. I think one time I had like a food delivery that went even further than this. This is something else.
The customer requested you leave the...
So they got various lanes that are closed. I was gonna circle back, but it depends on, like, trying to get on the highway kind of brought me in a kind of like a circle rather than going back. I may have, you know, trying to get some, coming out of Arlington, going back to Fort Worth, trying to get some of these exits can be tricky because of the amount of construction that goes on in this area of Arlington. It's just like never-ending construction. It's been this way since I was a kid, since the 90s. They're always constructing stuff. It's just a place that's always changing because of the highway, and I guess Arlington gets very busy, so they're always changing the routes to get on the highway. Anyway, water ponding on roadway. Slow down. Drive with caution. All right, 7-Eleven ID check, 9:24, 4 minutes, 2.2 for the pickup. The second part, Burger King pickup, 9:30, 1 minute, 450 feet. Thing where they tape the straw. I'm gonna show it. They tape it like that. I always give them an extra straw. It's eventually gonna bend the straw. All right. 7-Eleven on its way. 9:40, 5 minutes, 1.1. Alrighty. Burger King on its way, 9:51, 9:51 arrival, 5 minutes, 2 miles for the delivery. All right, got a wing stop, 10:06, 9 minutes, 2.7 for the... All right, wing stop, 10:19, 6 minutes, 2 miles. It's 2 stops. We've got the first one coming up for the delivery. All right, wing stop for the second delivery, 10:25, 4 minutes, 2 miles for the delivery. right, got a McDonald's. 10:46, 7 minutes, 2.2 miles. There it is. That's the Firehouse Theater that we used to do shows in at Texas Wesleyan University. It's now Bernice Coulter Templeton Art Studio. We did many shows there. I did Love there, LUV, the same one that Peter Falk did with Jack Lemmon. I think on Broadway there were different actors, but they did a movie with Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk called Love. We did the play version, just one act of it. It was a successful play. I did it with the whole play with a guy named Charles Statham and a lady named Wendy Western. And we had pretty good results in the play. We even had a guitar player in it. Righty, McDonald's on its way, 10:55, 6 minutes, 2.7 miles for the delivery. All right, got that dropped off, and that'll be my last one for tonight, and I'm headed back to feed Kitty. But if they wanted to, they... There's the tower. I was thinking about that old idea I had the New Liberty Party about the karma points, and I think it's a good idea. I think what the karma points do for our nation, which we've already dealing with Bitcoin and stuff, but what it would do is it would help really anybody that wanted to participate in it. They could pick up a rake and rake a yard and show proof that they did that and receive the karma points and use that for goods. But it would be silly for a billionaire, you know, it would be absolutely ridiculous for them to participate in it, but I have a feeling they probably would support it in some way. Because this would be a way of people to participate in being a part of society. And I got the idea from Drupal, which Drupal doesn't exist anymore. It was a music app. So how it worked was that if you like someone's band, you could make a comment on it and you'd receive karma points. You could even run your own page if you had your own band, which we had the Linda and Cole band, and we could run our own page by just being nice to other musicians. This says, not as I will, but as you will, Matthew 26:39. And you could be nice to other bands and musicians and receive karma points that you could, I cashed mine out, I believe, at Walmart. You could use it as goods. I thought, this is brilliant. I don't know why Drupal crashed. It all went away. But the idea didn't go away. I liked the idea. I thought it would, I personally think it would make a great idea for our country to take advantage of. Now, since it does represent goods, for an example, it doesn't necessarily represent goods, but since you could use the karma points to buy goods or things, even a house or something like that, the people that have already won the game, that have, like, let's say $170 billion or something, would be like, well, what is this thing? I'm very interested in it. And I would say, you could be interested in it, that's fine. But it's for the person that needs to basically maybe start over. Maybe they've been down and their credit maybe isn't so great, and so this would be a fresh start in a way for existing in commerce. And I can't think of anything more capitalist than that. Even though, you know, we've got these pro-capitalist people, but they don't realize when you're at the bottom, okay, you're at the very, very bottom, capitalism does not look the same as if you're at the very, very top, right? If you have it all, capitalism looks very different than it does if you're at the very bottom. So you would apply to the app. It'd be like an application, and you would be able to do good deeds. So let's say if you're out of work or you're looking for work, but you want to immediately do something. It could be even draw something, it could be being creative, and finding a way to implement that to something, like your artistic ability, or something that you have a craft at doing. Because they say that the people that have all the money in the world, they have that because they were very crafty at what they did. And let's say you're really good at working on computers, and you fix up a computer or something, but nobody wants to buy it in this commerce, right? But you show proof that you've done it, and you receive karma points. Somehow you'd have to show proof that you fixed up this old computer or something like that, or you help this person build a fence. It's like a reward system, and I don't know. I think it would be something to campaign on. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad thing, and people would go out and do these things, and we'd see how it works. I think Ross Perot had kind of like an idea that was similar to Facebook that he wanted to implement in his campaign. And it was like an online platform that everyone would get on and share ideas and stuff. I don't think he won because he was a third party. But remember, the New Liberty Party is actually a fourth party. We're not a third party. We don't mix in with the third party people. We're a fourth party because we believe in faith, hope, love, and charity. It's not necessarily a complete charitable organization, but it's changing the way people should think about our nation. And it's not really about, are you Republican or are you a Democrat anymore? It's more like, do you care about people? Because the Democrats are pro-government. They want the government to control everything. Well, yeah, that kind of works sometimes to a certain degree. Then you have the Republicans where they want the business to be, and that's fine. Okay, businesses can help to a certain extent. McDonald's has their little program. Big corporations has their little programs where they give charitable stuff to people. We don't really see how it plays out. But this would only be understanding that everything's going to lead to charity, right? I don't think it leads to one party or the other. But I think it leads to the way people think. And that's what I was saying with let's make the country good. If we all are striving to be great, then how could we all be good people? That might be something you could quote me on saying. If we're all striving to be great, this greatness, right? Then how could we possibly be good people? Right, because it's supposed to be we the people. And not everybody is going to want to step on other people's shoulders to be great. But if everybody works together, we can all be good. And I think that's where NLP, New Liberty Party points, the karma points are about. It's about doing good deeds. And if we change the thoughts, right? Because I've always taught that the major problem in society is it's a war of thoughts. You could say even a war of ideas. And if you change the idea to where it's a charitable thing, then you have people working together so that other people can get there too. So we're all on this race, right? We're all trying to get to the finish line. But we see these other people that can't get up and get there. And the New Liberty Party, karma points, they can use that to get up on their own and to get there because they would need to. And I think it's been voiced, and I came across Drupal and the idea of the New Liberty Party and through music, right? Because music is a very important thing because you express, I guess in a way, love, I think there was something, if love be the food of, if food
be the love, or if love be the food of music, then play on. I think I've heard that, the 12th night. If love be the food of music, then play on. And it was that way for someone to, it's a complex thing with Shakespeare. I looked up the meaning of it, but Shakespeare was trying to make a comment about sadness and stuff, and the person was playing music constantly to overcome their sadness, but this would be something that would always be there for you, as long as you're willing to do something and you have a passion. Then you would be able to exist in an important way. You'd be on a platform and you would be able to find out what you need to do or what you want to do to help others. And it would be backed in charity. It'd be a charitable country, where we'd be good. And we're not. Listen, we're not. I don't think we're that charitable of a country. Not right now. I think we've become, I'm going to be honest with you, I think both sides, I think Republican and Democrat, because of their love of the country or the love of business, have become selfish. And it's gotten out of hand. And maybe someone needs to rise up and do something with that, And Drupal was like something that I just would get on, even for a few moments of the day, and I would just say something nice. I would just say something nice about a band, and then I'd receive these points, and it was like a review, and then I would cash those out, eventually over time. Over time it worked, I think I ended up getting like $50 for it or something. Anyway, I don't know. This is something I'm still implementing and thinking about. I'm not putting it in a fictional novel, It's just something that I'm thinking about, because I think our country is sick. Christmas stuff. And I think it needs to get better. I think it can get better if we believe in what we're doing. We want to help other people, and it'd be a way of doing that. It'd be a way of receiving a way to get goods and stuff just by being basically kind of like nice and to other people, and finding ways to help other people and stuff. And if you're against that, then you're definitely against my party, right? If you're against faith and you're against hope and you're against love and you're against charity, then you won't want to follow it, because all my answers are going to be fit into those principles. Whenever you come after me, right, with your debate on why you should, be, your party should rule, and mine would filter through those things. It would filter through faith, hope, love, and then charity. Because I think there's a difference between love and charity. I think there is a difference, and I think you know that too. And some of you are going to be following along with it. Eventually it'll take off. Some of you won't, and that's fine. You have every right to be. I think you have the right to have the freedom of choice of whatever you want to do. But if you think you can beat that, I'd like to hear your idea. And then you can present your idea to me. And I'm going to tell you what your idea kind of looks like. It kind of looks like this. And that idea is a sad, sad idea. There he is. Say goodnight, kitty. Bye.